on and signed by the board. All right?
So I think you should all have E3 in your packet.
Yep.
And if you're all good with it, then I'm going to go ahead and send it around to be signed.
All right, so looking for a motion to accept it. And
I'll make a motion to accept the, purchase order, policy.
Procurement policy. Well, that was a tough one. We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the procurement policy for purchase orders for expenditures over $500, ready to be voted on. And anybody, any questions? Yes, Mrs.
So,
Sessions?
I know that it's 7,500, and I know that's what we, I think, talked about probably at the last meeting, but at one point we talked about it being less than that. Is there a reason? I mean, I'm just asking, I don't know. Did we discuss why we were putting it up to the 500?
Blank.
So am I.
I think it's just to not tie somebody up for $250. I mean, I'm sure parts of for the highway department cost a lot more than that. So I think it's just not to tie up business for longer than it has to be tied up. I mean, I don't have an answer for that. But
Right, I mean, I don't know, we discussed it at being a lower amount at one point, and I
That's
just.
fine.
And my thing is that $500 is still kind of low, because that's a tire cost.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what you're getting at, and I agree with POs, but $500 just for the highway department is a little small.
She wants to go lower, so.
But I'm just saying, a tire costs $500, that could really tie you up for a while. I'm just letting you guys know that. Parts are not cheap.
And there's also emergency situations that you
Right.
contact the town manager and get approval for that, and we'll fix the paperwork after. You can do that too, so. All right, so seeing no other questions, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, status of the ACO.
We have an ACO.
Oh, awesome.
His name is Hunter Tewksbury.
Oh, good.
He's 19 years old. He plans to apply to be a game warden when he's 21, so we have him for a couple of years.
Yep.
He's already proven his worth by collecting a mama cat with her brand new kittens and taking them to the shelter. Strong kid, good head on his shoulders and everything. And graduate of Madison High School, lives in Solon. Yes, and Sean gave a recommendation for him. So.
That's awesome.
What is his name? Hunter Tewksbury. And his brother, got a brother named Fisher.
All right, moving on to 20 Clark Street. All right, we have three ranges from three different realtors, Allied, Keller Williams, and a tax assessed value, two realtors and tax assessed value. So, where do we want to move from?
I put the tax assessed value just of the land because the building has been removed.
We're going to put it out to bid again? I'm okay with that. We want to put it out to bid again.
Do you want to have a minimum bid?
Did we?
Yes. Yep.
Did we ever find out about the water and sewer? How much was it to them? And did we have a conversation with them about?
No. That was on me.
Because I know that was what the last time was.
Yes. Yep. And yes, and I had it in my notes that we needed to contact them and find out what the lowest amount that they would accept. So.
From the ranges I see, I don't think we're far off.
You don't either?
We did.
Not at all.
Do you want to stay with 27.5 as a minimum? There's no rush to sell it, and if we put out for bid now, we may get somebody that will give us that 27.5, so that we can make the water and sewer whole as well, and electric. But chances are they won't be putting anything on it right away anyway, not
Right.
till next spring or summer.
Right. And Mr. McGee, I'm sorry.
Don't we have like 27 invested in that, Denise?
Right now, with the utilities and the interest on, that was, from the prior taxes that didn't get paid, it's right about $27,400.
And
That includes the utilities.
that would be my feelings. I don't think we should lose one penny from that property. I mean, when this town isn't into collecting real estate or making money from real estate, but we need to get our money back. And if we're gonna set a price, I would like to see the price no lower than what the town needs reimbursed.
And all utilities, I think we didn't follow with
Okay.
that. So,
And Madison Electric, okay. Yep.
all right, so you want a motion for that, or you just want, are you all set with that?
Well, do you wanna put it back out to bid with that?
Let's give it a try.
Okay. So motion to put it out to bid.
Yep.
And what the lowest bid should be.
All right, so we need a motion to go out to bid on 20 Park Street again, with a minimum of
Can I just ask a question?
27.5, correct?
Can I ask a
Yes.
question? So whoever purchased this, can we put any stipulations in there as to, like, if they were to put a trailer on there, that it would have to be, I mean, we just invested a lot of money into this piece of property to take down something that was not, had no good value to it. It was not being, the upkeep was not maintained, and now we're gonna sell this piece of property to somebody with no stipulation as to what they can put on that, because if they put a trailer on there, we could be back in the same kind of a piece of property that we just invested a lot of money in to take down that kind of a piece of property.
We are getting our money back, though, if we get to 27.5.
We are getting our money back, I get that,
Yeah.
but
Yes, Mr. Bean?
I don't believe we had any ordinances against
it's,
anything, do we?
No,
well,
we
no,
don't.
but I think, I thought when there was a piece of property a few years ago that was sold by the town, and they put some kind of stipulation onto what somebody could put
Yes.
onto that piece of property, am I correct in that?
Yes, that's true, and Madison Paper, people in Madison Paper did the same thing on that property.
Mhm.
They put a stipulation, we couldn't produce, kind of paper,
Super calendar?
super calendar paper.
Right.
Can't produce that there, or any kind of paper, actually.
Right, they could use it for.
So that's why we couldn't use it as a paper machine.
Right,
So, yeah, I mean, if we want to, I mean, I think we'd have to look into what we could say, how you'd say it. I mean, you'd have to probably have Lexi look at that and how you would say it. I mean, I don't know.
maybe it could be a
Double
trailer or
wide
a
only.
double, or it could be a trailer or a double wide, maybe 2000 and, I don't know, some year 2000 something, and newer. So it wasn't just an old trailer
But
that.
I don't have the knowledge
Yeah, I
to
don't
say
know.
how you would state that. Yeah.
I think you're opening it up for some heavy challenges, because you're singling out one piece of property and putting stipulations to it, whereas there's a lot of trailers around here that didn't have any of those challenges or anything else.
We also have that piece of property up on John Street that we tore down, and it looks
Right.
very nice up on the right-hand side of John Street, just
Yeah.
beyond, is it Hardy?
Yeah.
Just beyond Hardy, which looks very nice.
Used to be
Nice
the
job.
LePage lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they did a nice job with that, so I mean, I don't have the knowledge to say if we could do that or not, we'd have to probably ask. So do we wanna ask that question before we put it out, or we can make a motion and see if it passes without that stipulation? So, The old Z word has not gone very well in the town of Madison in the past.
You get it.
It hasn't gone all that well, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, I know what you're talking about, okay. Do you want me to ask Ken Lexier and then come back at the next meeting with an answer?
Yeah, I would say if that's, I mean, if the board wants to make a motion and pass it at 27.5 as is, that certainly can happen. I mean, we don't have, we have one vote that probably will go against that, but, that's up to the board. Yes. Sweet.
I guess my caution is, we put it out to bid 3 months ago,
Yeah,
without
let's do
any
it, yeah.
stipulation. I don't know if we wanna stipulate it now, I just am nervous about that.
All right, so do we have a motion, right? No?
No?
Nobody's made a motion yet? All right, any motion? All right, so we'll look into that then.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Moody, sorry.
I was gonna make that motion.
Go ahead.
I would make the motion that, that we list it at 27.5
Minimum bid.
with, yes, as a minimum bid.
Okay,
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a 20 Park Street to go out to bid at a minimum bid of $27,500. Are there any other questions? And our only question is, do you put stipulations on? And so if the rest of the board does not feel that way, then we'll move forward with it. All right, all those in favor? All right, opposed? All right, so we have 4 to 1. So that's opposed. All right,
do I mark in the minutes who was opposed?
yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, town building use policy. We have to sign that.
Yes,
We already okayed it.
yes. And that is in,
Another folder.
I know, I know. I have another folder, wait a minute. The signature folder. Should be right on the back, I think. Yep.
It doesn't matter which, who signs first, the last one.
I don't think so.
All right, so we.
You had already voted on that one.
Yep. Yeah, no, we didn't do that. We, at the last meeting, voted to put $1,000 into the Kennebec Valley Visitors Guide.
Yes,
And this is looking to expand it to 2 pages to include more businesses.
yes.
That's all that could include in that, were those businesses there?
Yeah, so what I did, if you'll pass those around. These are some of the ones that I came up with, based on looking at what was already in here and what else is available in the community. So, there's no way we can get all of this into 1 page. So if we want to stay with 1 page, we basically stay with what we've got right now, which, yeah, we stay with what we've got right now for the 1 page for $1,000. And then next year, we put it in the budget to expand it to 2 pages, and we have a better opportunity to reach out to other businesses and attractions within the Madison area of the Kennebec Valley to really come up with a really good layout. So, the guy needs the artwork by September 30th. So my recommendation would be stay with the 1,000 for this year and expand it next year.
That sounds good.
I would make a motion to do that, but I also have a question.
We've already done that.
Oh, we don't need,
No, we've already done it.
Oh,
We okayed it for 1,000.
So we
Oh,
okay
we already
with
paid it for
1,000,
that.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so I have a question.
Yep.
I don't know where in this book, Denise, right now, but there was a place in the book where there was other things written about like the, say, the historical times or something like that.
Yeah.
There was articles within the book itself.
Yep,
Do you know how that gets, so, because a lot of this stuff might fit in that kind of a category. Is that because they did an article?
if you look at, like, page 54, page 54 has, like, Jackman, Rockwood, Mount Kineo, La Force, a bunch of different things.
Right.
So maybe something like that. That's all on the upper Kennebec Valley. Skowhegan is a couple pages before that. They've got a little picture and a blurb for, you know, they've got a bunch of stuff, 2 pages wide. It's hard to say where it would go.
There was
You know,
something,
the-
right, I was gonna say, there was something I saw that was written up for the town of Madison through here someplace, when I was skimming through it, and I should have,
The only thing that
Oh,
was
right
written
here.
for Madison was
it's on
on,
page 44.
it's on page 44?
Mhm.
Okay, let me check that.
So I don't know how that gets written up, that's all I'm asking, so maybe some of these other things could be mentioned in something like
Yeah, definitely. Okay,
Okay, so I don't know how that happens.
okay.
And-
Maybe if that happens, then you could move like Sebastian Rall Monument.
Some of that stuff.
Pines Trail, Jacob's Pines,
Mhm,
and Western Woods and Waters to that other page. You
mhm.
could sneak some more in there, if that works.
And then I have like that the Lakewood Village place, so the Lakewood stuff could all be in that, I would think. I mean, I'm just, you know, I don't know how that happens, but maybe
Okay.
it's something they
I
write
can
up.
talk to Gary about that, Gary Poulin, so, and find out how does that, who writes it? I don't even know,
Is
there's no
that
author.
part, and is that part of our $1,000? I'm wondering.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, and I don't, well, $1,000 was for the one-page ad,
Yeah,
Right.
right.
That was
Right.
specific to that.
So that's like small town charm, I think.
This
Yes,
is small town
exactly.
charm.
Well, maybe
yeah.
we
So I
can,
think
maybe we
they
can get
probably
those
do.
moved over there and get some more of the business
Okay,
in this page.
yep,
Sounds good?
okay.
All right, we have a meeting scheduled on the 9th. We have a meeting scheduled on the 23rd. So what we're looking at is not having a meeting on the 9th.
Well, okay,
Or having a meeting on the 16th and the 23rd. How does that fit for people?
well, apparently Tim had already created a schedule,
Yep.
and he already had it as the 16th, which included the assessors,
Yep.
and the 30th. So this is, I don't know where this may have been published, but Tris brought it to my attention today. So I don't know if you want to stay with this as is, or if you want to make your own decision about what we do.
Fine with me. Want to stick with this? Is that okay, Ms. Bowie?
Are we talking 16 and 30? Is that-
16 and 30, yep.
Yeah, I'm all set with that,
Put it
yeah.
in the schedule?
Pardon?
You can put it in the schedule?
I'll try.
Okay. Okay, I know, Kathy, okay, Ms. Estes, I know you travel a lot, so we gotta,
I'm coming back that day, I don't know
Okay.
what time I'll be back, but, you know, if I'm here, I'll
all
make
right,
it.
16th, you mean? Yes.
The 16th or the 30th?
The 16th, because that's a Monday, the 30th I'll be here, but the 16th I'm coming back.
The 30th, I may not be here. My son's girlfriend is expecting right around Halloween. No, I'll be here.
All right, so, number 9, follow up on citizens' concern, Mr. Fluid on Blackwell Hill overhanging, hanging trees, has been addressed by the road commissioner. Anything else we need to have on that subject?
Michael, did you want to say anything about that? Will you,
Nope, they're all cut back, they're all taken care of, so, there's just stuff that's a little bit higher than what we're used to cutting. So, we took care of the rest of it, it's all cut back.
All right,
the other part of that question was about spraying,
yep,
and Mr. Lynch is here to talk about that, and that is, can he go ahead and get started? And the other part of that question is, does he spray everything no matter what, or only the places where there's Japanese knotweed?
well, Mike, what do you suggest?
I suggest he start spraying, because the knotweed's invasive, and unless we take control of some of this now, we're never gonna get control of it. Up on the, I can't think of the name of the road, the corner, we got a post office box that is buried in knotweed. Nobody can get to it. I've cut it back twice, it comes back 3 times as strong. we gotta get control of some of this, in some of these corners and intersections, people can't see around this stuff. If we don't take care of it soon, you know, I can't keep the guys out there on not weed patrol 7 days a week. It just can't happen. But, I mean, I keep cutting it back and he just keeps coming back stronger. So, in my opinion, I think it needs to be sprayed.
Do you typically spray just where the knotweed is, or do you spray everything?
No, and I said no, that answers everything, no. Basically, you only spray invasives, and the reason is, if you start spraying everything, then you're gonna get in trouble because you're spraying natives and those types of things. So it's specific. The state says you can spray black locust, knotweed. There's 3 more, I'll come up with my promise. Black locust, knotweed. The stuff they make wreaths out of, bittersweet, or just oriental bittersweet, not natural bittersweet. And those are okay. Most people spray just knotweed, because if you look at knotweed, it's pretty specific. It doesn't, you don't have the carryover. So you can spray it and get rid of it, and it's the most aggressive, and it causes the most traffic problems.
I would say, move forward.
Okay.
Is that consensus of the board? All right, let's move forward.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
We're still, I don't want you to think I'm gonna be out there tomorrow, because there is still some giant knotweed that is still flowering. And so we'll wait for that to stop. We had a good inquiry from the Somerset beekeepers, had a great conversation. I went from being the demon from hell to being a pretty good guy, I think, but it was a good discussion.
Good. All right, thank you, Mr. Lynch.
Thank you,
Yep.
really appreciate it.
All right.
You are free to go if you want.
Okay, I'm having an awful good time, but I think I'll leave.
Your arm
Thanks
seems
again
to
for
be
all you
better.
guys do. I said it last week before I knew how you were gonna vote, but I really mean that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a very important job.
All right. Department heads, we have a sheriff's
I'll be in touch.
report in our
Okay, thanks.
box.
Yes.
I haven't seen anything from Donnie, from the fire chief.
There should be something there. It was,
I missed it, I'm sorry.
it's attached to.
Okay, all right, yep.
So you've got the sheriff, the library, the highway, and the fire.
Okay. Mr. Road Commissioner?
Everything I got on there, pretty much everything's going pretty good. The only other thing is Pete Payne is retiring after 38 years.
Oh,
So, he's gonna retire October 12th. He's tired, he's ready. So I got a couple guys coming in that has power experience, about 8 to 10 years power experience, so we should be covered.
so we have our crew as together.
What's that?
We have the crew together for this winter, I mean, we have.
Oh yeah, we're good. I got
people
6 backup seasonal, we're good.
What was the date you gave?
October 12th.
10/12, okay, thank you.
But he's willing to work with us until this guy gets comfortable and situated, so it'll be just kind of an overlay, but
Yep.
I'll keep Peter here just a little bit longer to get people used to a couple things over there.
Mr. Moody.
Mike, how are you going to transition Peter's retirement slot? Is there somebody up there that's gonna move in there full-time and into that slot?
This is
Into
personnel.
the foreman's position,
Executive session.
Pardon?
No.
in the foreman's position, or to his position?
Not-
His
remember-
position.
Just remember, we're not talking about any person here, right?
No,
No, we're talking about a position.
Yep.
yeah, we're gonna put it in the paper for it to be advertised, just like we usually do.
Okay,
So,
all right.
there's been a couple people that's asked over the phone call,
Okay.
asking for a job.
So that's how you're gonna handle that
Right,
position?
yep,
Gotcha.
be advertised just like we usually do it.
Yep, all right.
Sounds good. All right, anything else, Mike? We got sand, we got salt, we got all that stuff?
Well, salt, not just quite yet, Al.
Not yet, okay.
Don't rush it, don't rush it.
It's getting cold, Mike.
It is, but it'll be here in plenty of time. You don't want salt to sit too long stagnant,
All
so
right.
we will have it.
All right, number 2, recreation committee meeting.
Okay.
9:20, and
Yes.
the ice rink.
Yes, so the ice rink, the road commissioner is going to take care of the building, and he's also gonna level the area. Joe Hayden was supposed to get the area where the horseshoe pits are, staked out so that Michael would, and his crew would know where it needs to be leveled. So that's being taken care of.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Also gonna fix the door on the shack and put a new door on it, but I'm gonna reinforce it on both sides. I know people tried to break into it, so I'm gonna reinforce it, make sure, hopefully that won't happen again, and put a few shelves in it for them.
Yes, that was one of Joe Hayden's concerns, was the door. They're looking for the rec committee bylaws, so, I'm not sure who would have the rec committee bylaws, but maybe they're in the office, maybe Tris would have it.
There's a book.
For the rec
It
committee.
has just, it only has a very little, but it has whatever their bylaws or whatever they went
Okay.
by. There should be that in that book and a couple of sets of minutes, but it wasn't a very big
We
one.
should also be updating that with minutes and agendas and stuff as we go along.
Yes, that's a good point. All right, so I will,
Even though we don't have stuff from the past, we're gonna
Right,
move
but
forward.
the point is, that's where all the minutes are supposed to be kept, is in that book.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be kept for the book. I mean, the recreation committee can have their own book too, but.
okay, so add the 2023 agendas and minutes to clerk's book. Okay. That. And then they were talking about the possibility of having consequences for violations of some of the behavioral things, like if you have a coach that's swearing at kids and things like that, what are they supposed to do with that?
I'd say come up with the rules.
Okay,
Yeah.
and do they,
Well, we used to have something we had to sign as coaches anyway.
yeah, that's part of it, so, okay. And then they said the next meeting was, they didn't have a next meeting, when?
They have it listed as October 18th. I think.
How did I not do that?
Is that a Wednesday? The third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday, okay. Okay.
But that was tentative, and they had to have changed that, that's what they had said.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Beam?
Denise, on the ice rink removal,
On the what?
moving the ice rink,
Yes,
we need to reach out to Madison Electric, see if they can move the lights over, and the other question I had was the header for the hose. It currently comes in off Western Avenue. Because if it stays there, we're gonna need more hose and have to drag it across that
They did,
thoroughfare.
so the lights, Marty Barry looked at it, and he said that there's a pole right on John Street that they can just move the lights to the pole. They don't need to put a new pole. The header for the water, that's something that I need to look into.
It's probably water district.
that's
Probably, yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
They could probably come off John Street, I'm sure.
Okay. All right, I'll put that on my to-do list.
All right, thanks. All right, we have the living well in Madison report. Any questions, you can ask Denise.
And I do have her report from last week also, so I'm gonna send that around. She's been great about keeping me informed on what's going on. Tomorrow, there's an event at 1 Madison Avenue for the memory kits that she's been working on. And I'm gonna be going down to that event with her. And she's trying to find ways to get more community engagement. So she's also going up to the high school, talking to the JMG program and things like that. Also, Cheyenne has been great with the website and the electronic sign, so she's a sharp cookie.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Good. All right, number 4, town manager's report on expenses and budget.
Yep. I don't know where to go with this. Jill and Shirley and Tris said that we've got TIF money from Woodlands, which for the first half of the year, the September payment is $7,265. And this, I didn't make copies, I'm sorry. And the Backyard Farms TIF for September is $80,753. So we did have a meeting with the Backyard Farms general manager, Ryan something. And he said he wanted to know what was the TIF all about. And when he found out that they were going to get back 80%, 70% of what they paid in taxes, he was over the moon, so he was happy about that. So it looks like we've got about $88,000 for each period, the September payment and then again in the March payment for the TIF from the Woodlands and Backyard Farms. So that has not gone into the account yet that I know of.
That's gonna be on your revenue side though, right?
Yes,
And then
that
once they get ready, they can put that money back into these accounts as we collect that.
Yep. So I don't know, I gotta talk to Jill and just see, okay, so that would be on the very back page, the revenue account for Backyard Farm retained. It's not listed there yet, and the Backyard Farm, the TIF retained for Woodlands is also not on there. So those are gonna get added to the revenue side for those amounts, and then they can move them over to the being able to be budgeted, so. Other than that, there's a few things that are in the negative on the payroll side, but it's like overtime and sick time, and there's nothing budgeted for that to begin with.
Right.
So,
That
okay.
comes out of the original amount of
The-
personnel services.
Oh, okay,
It's just shown because they deduct the sick from people's total
balances,
balances that they have, and vacation comes out of that, and they don't show that,
okay,
because you'd be over budgeting if you did that.
okay,
Right, basically these, correct me if I'm wrong with Jill, but these 3 amounts here, 4,000, 4,300, 5,500, and 2,100,
yep,
all come out of this,
the 285,
I have 211, on the wrong page,
page 1.
page 1.
Oh, yeah, I've got,
Page 385, it all comes out of that 211.
okay,
Right. Well, yes, it'd be 285, yes.
285.
I'm in the wrong column, sorry.
yep,
Yeah, it all comes out of that. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's all figured in there.
all right, so that makes me feel a little bit better. 'cause
Yeah,
I
no,
was
that's
like,
all,
I'm already feeling,
That's always gonna be a minus until
yeah.
it shakes out.
okay. Most everything else, I think there's, all the negatives are falling in the personnel area, which you just explained is gonna come out of the top budget number anyway. There's a couple of things, like the Old Point Avenue,
Can I just add something?
Hopefully.
So the overtime budget, that does have specific, and that's the 5,500. That's just
Okay,
so you know, it's
that's
not
for admin.
It's not overspent yet, but
Okay.
that does have it specific, and that is
Okay.
separate. Yeah.
all right. And we have had some, most recently, like an hour, 2 hours, almost, an hour per person almost for the whole week. Because of the tax money coming in and the cash balancing and things like that, so. And people that come in at, 5 minutes of 4 and say, I wanna register my new vehicle, and so.
Happens.
Yep, so I think we're in pretty good shape there. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
It's me?
I have one on backyard farms. I think I remember hearing recently that their TIF was good for 20 years and it's coming up.
2026, I think,
Are they aware of that?
yes. So does that mean at that point that once they start paying taxes, they're not gonna get anything back? Okay.
So what I would say, coming from them, would have to be that we wanna talk about this. I mean, we're not gonna suggest that, but they can suggest that, and then we'll have to decide on how we wanna go forward with that.
Okay. Good to know.
All right, any other questions for the town manager on budget? And if you have any, please get in to see her. I have one more question for our road commissioner. We have everything that was scheduled to be hot topped?
Just about, they're finishing up Maple for the second layer, and Thomas.
Thomas?
Yeah.
See a whole bunch of piping over to Thomas, where Jimmy's doing that.
Yeah, he's putting in new basins around that corner.
Oh, he is, good.
We've set it up so the basins, all the water's gonna run the right way, and he's gonna put a couple in his lot there. So all the water's piped the way it's supposed to be.
Oh, good.
Yep.
That sounds good. Excuse me. All right, letter G, new business.
New business,
Membership in Grow Smart Maine
yes.
for $250 dues to be paid out of economic development. The balance is $1,158.
Yes, and I don't have a lot of information on GrowSmart right now, other than what's in your packet. It's a nonprofit, they work with governments to try to get economic development going, and they have newsletters, they have meetings, they have the whole statewide organization basically that tries to align the local community with what the state economic development wants to see happen. So it's all about growing the economy in Maine.
All right, so can we get a motion to become a member of Grow Smart Maine?
I'll make a motion that we join Gross Mountain.
Okay.
Second.
All right, with a motion and a second to pay for $250 dues to Grow Smart Maine, coming out of economic development. Any questions, Mr. Moody?
Is this something you would recommend us to be?
Yes. I would recommend that we join this because there are benefits to the town if we're a member, that we can call on them to help us fill some of the local vacant buildings and things like that.
Okay, thank you. I'm all set.
All right, thank you. All right, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, number 2, ATV draft policy. ATV access draft policy.
Another one for you. I'm already giving you all of them, anyway. So Mitch had started a draft, and it didn't really, he didn't get it finished. And so Jeff Ireland came to me and asked me what was happening with it. And right now, we've got this draft that I just handed you to work with. What the ATV club, the Madison ATV club is asking for is to have an access route on Main Street. And they want the Board of Selectmen to endorse that request, and then they will go to the state and get the state to do whatever permitting is required, and they'll work with DOT to create the signs, and all of the costs and everything will come out of the ATV club. So there's no cost to the town. They just want to be able to say, okay, they're going from the trail to Hannaford, from the trail to Irving for gas, from the, they want to be able to have an access route. And it's primarily, it's Main Street, and it's for the purposes of getting to the access, from the access route to the trail. So I'm not sure that, you're ready to vote, because this is something that you should probably review and look at, and the other thing is, this is not gonna happen before next year anyway. So,
Are we looking at a special town meeting, or are we looking at going to regular town meeting?
I think we could do this at regular town meeting.
Jeff, okay with that?
I'll find out.
Justice?
Do you know how far he wanted Main Street to be included? How far up on Main Street?
The whole thing.
The whole of Main Street?
Well, the
So where
access,
does Main Street actually stop and White Schoolhouse Road take over? Is that at the old county?
that's Old County Road, yeah. I don't think it needs to go that far, because I think, there's no businesses beyond that they would require access to. And the whole point of it is to have local access.
Right, but I think Rob's Cash Fuel was part of their access.
Yeah, and the ice cream shop and.
Good point, good point.
However this is written up, I firmly believe we need to take this to town meeting, because there's gonna
Oh, yeah.
be quite a bit of opposition to this. And number one, first thing they're gonna say is who's gonna enforce this? It's impossible, it's an impossible feat to enforce. And I'm not one that wants to vote yea or nay on this. I'm saying we take it to town meeting.
Right, that's
my
the only
feeling.
thing we'll be voting on, whether to take it to town meeting or not.
Yes.
And we can say no to that too, you don't have to go to town meeting, if we don't go to town meeting, it's dead in the water. So, yes, that's.
So I have been to a couple of communities that actually allow access to ATVs. I never took that much notice of that until now, and of course I was bicycling through some of these towns, and I do have to say, these were busy, small, touristy towns and the ATVs were I was impressed. I was really impressed.
They were very polite.
They were polite, they were courteous, they were and if you were, I saw they would stop for people who were on crosswalks, they were, because I guess, and this, I talked to somebody else who was a town manager, this didn't happen in his town, but he said some of the other towns, what he found was that, they were it helped to control traffic, because they were told, 25 miles an hour is it, and if you just, you're right, your privilege will get taken away. And one of the towns I was in was Bucksport, and I was, like I said, I took really notice of that, because I was there, I was on my bicycle, I was walking, I was doing a lot of things, and I was like, wow. I was really impressed, and it was a busy touristy, time of year for them.
Yeah.
And Greenville was the other one. So, I mean, I wouldn't, I'm not, I just, that was my experience, which I really didn't see that until then, and then I was pretty impressed, to be honest with you. So I don't know if either two, maybe we reach out to those towns to see how
So
they
you
went
said
about.
Greenville and,
Greenville and Bucksport were two specific ones that I was really took notice of, that were kind of busy little towns.
Okay.
So, we had talked before about, Madison Avenue and Weston Avenue. Are those still on the table?
That was for local people only though, right?
For
Yeah,
local
yeah,
people
no,
only.
you can't drive, no, if you're from out of town, you can't drive down.
Right.
Right.
That was local only. But
And-
Main Street, you're talking everybody, they can get off the trail.
Off the
Anybody can
trail,
get off the
onto Main
trail,
Street,
onto
right.
Main Street, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, they do have something that's residents who live outside of the defined village area. And then, let's see,
Yeah, right there, town roads in the village area will be open to local ATV only.
yeah,
From
so
their
they can
homes
travel
to-
from their
to the
homes to the
trail, yeah.
village, to the access route. And Jeff was telling me that the access route does not include anything near the boat landing or Weston Woods, or, he gave me one other place,
The schools,
the school, thank you. Yeah, Learner's Lane,
Leonard's Lane and the junior high.
Yep.
Because they can go the opposite direction, not coming down to the end of the stop sign. So if you buy the junior high, they can go up and back down to Oakland Ave, but not to Main Street.
they
from the
can't go
junior high.
past the school,
Right.
yeah. Okay. And he's aware that it will probably have to go to a town meeting, whether it's a special town meeting or the regular town meeting. I think we got time to think about that.
All right, so when will you bring this up again? Probably in October?
Yes, I can do that.
Push it along a little bit. All right, so number 3, have we already done that?
Well, no, so,
This is different? Okay, so
yeah,
Madison Code of Ordinances, Chapter 572, Expenditure of Public Funds, 572-9, Paragraph A. Current code requires purchase order from all departments for all expenditures. Amendment should be written to refer to procurement policy.
yes.
Okay.
So this is just something that I happened to stumble across. I was reading it, I was going, oh, well, if they approved the procurement policy with the purchase orders, then this needs to be changed.
Okay. So can you work on that and change it for us, how it should read? And then
Yes.
we can do it at another meeting?
Yep.
Looks like you're gonna have a purchase order for nuts and bolts here, Mike, if you go along with this policy.
Don't really want it to, but I
Actually,
don't have a choice.
Actually, that was already in there,
Yeah.
so it just hasn't been followed.
Yeah. Never involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
all right, that was G3.
Just hope that plow truck don't break down. That's all I'm saying.
All right, number 4,
You got my
request,
phone number.
request from Maine Department of Marine Resources for a public informational meeting on September 27th
Yes,
at 6:30 to discuss NOAA grant application with Madison citizens and Lake Western residents.
yes. So I was approached by Nate Gray from the Maine Department of Marine Resources and another lady, and I have her name somewhere, but, and I worked with Mark Doty on coming up with a notice to give to the Mill Pond residents, there's
Yep.
5 of them. So I mailed that today, just to say, here, it's a notice of a public meeting, we're gonna meet on the 27th at the fire station in East Madison, and the topic to be discussed is the grant proposal to NOAA for the fish passage and restoring native migratory fish species. So they want to get the public's input from the area, Lake Western residents, Madison residents, and especially the Mill Pond people. And then they would also, Maine Department of Marine Resources would also include a request for funding in order to analyze the options for fish passage, so that if they need to create fish ladders or whatever, or if they have to take out a dam or whatever, so that's, they don't want to take out a dam, but So,
So
Anyway.
they need a place to meet, or they?
no, I've already arranged it with Danny Bosworth,
Yep.
that we're good to meet there. I'm making sure you guys are aware of it.
We can attend if we'd like to.
You absolutely can, it's a public meeting.
Select board concerns, Mr. Moody?
It's not so much,
Yeah.
Bill,
It's paperwork too, I
they're
think.
going to
Yeah.
do it, for
Yeah.
sure, but
Yeah.
it's just been held up a little bit.
I'm just.
Waiting on the state.
I'm curious, because I get a lot of people asking me, are they gonna do it, or
Yes.
da-da-dee-da.
They are gonna do it, they're
Yeah.
waiting on paperwork from the state and the funding, some funds, so.
Okay, thank you, that's all I got.
We all know how the state goes. Mr.
You're
Bean?
gonna be still waiting.
I'm good.
This is, Mr. Wyatt?
I'm all good, thank you.
Gillespie?
Are we gonna bring up the topic about the policing before, so we can talk about it some before the whole budget time comes? Because
Sure.
that was kind of talked about at the budget meeting,
Yep.
and people have, I've been getting questions from people about that.
Okay, we can put it in November maybe? Is that okay?
Yeah.
That'll give us, we can get the
Give us
sheriff,
some time and.
get the
Do
sheriff.
you have
here.
something do you have something in particular in mind about policing?
No, but there was discussions about it for,
Yes.
during the budget season and last year, and it was stated that they would, board would talk about it. Maybe they wanna do away with it, the way that it's being done, maybe there was other options, whatever.
All right, and you wanna do that in a November meeting?
Yeah, see if you can get the
Sheriff
sheriff, to-
Lancaster?
the sheriff to town. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be till November or December, I mean. We only have one meeting in December, so
Probably was start in November. I mean,
probably
it's-
November then,
February starts budget time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
March, yeah.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
in March.
So you can, if you can see if he can come and maybe kind of get some ideas going around. All right, anything else, Mr. Listies? I have none. Citizens' concerns?
I've had some calls and questions about the business matching grants, and I've not found anything in the budget that says specifically we're gonna do matching
It would
grants
come-
this
It would
year.
come out of the, it would come out of the TIF accounts, and we chose not to put those in for this year.
Okay,
We had to transition for town manager, there's some money in there for that,
yep,
and there's some money in there, I don't have it off the top of my head, but we chose, as a group, we chose not to put that in for this year. We just finishing up with.
last
with-
year,
With last year's,
okay,
and so we were gonna look at that for next year,
okay,
or talk about it for next year.
okay. I will let them know.
All right, looking for a motion to go into executive session to consider a town-owned property matter pursuant to 1 MRS 4056C.
I'll make a motion to go
Quick
into
question now.
executive
So,
session.
all right, a motion and a second to go into executive session to consider a town-owned property matter pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056C. All those in favor?
Well, hold it, he had another question.
Okay.
You said, wait a second, sorry.
What's your question?
Miss Town Manager didn't, I don't know if she had asked you, but putting a four-way stop on Thomas and North Ave, North Street.
That is another citizen's
Um,
concern.
That's two citizen concerns. I've sat over there 2 or 3 different times, there's a bunch of kids over there. It's that sharp corner and people are just flying down through there. My personal opinion, I think we should. But of course, it's your guys' decision. But I really think now that's hot topped, it's gonna be nothing but a speed zone. And there is a bunch of kids over there. And it's a concern of mine of somebody getting hurt. or
Thomas
killed.
and what?
North.
North.
So it's that cut across, there's a stop sign going this way on each side, but not this way.
Yes.
So I'd like to put a four-way stop there to slow that traffic down, so them kids are,
Okay,
No,
put
no
that
chance.
on the agenda for the next meeting?
yeah,
I will
well,
put it on the agenda for that.
Yeah.
it was just a question.
And I think we can get it, if we get it out into an agenda so people see it, those
Okay.
people can come and,
Okay.
people at the corner can come and talk about it.
I'll get a hold of her.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
I'm sorry.
All right, we now have a motion to go into executive session in a second. All those in favor? All in favor, we're in executive session, 7:27.